Hey, how's it going? Today is 2nd of June, Sunday. Since it's Sunday, let's take a look at finances and some of the more important things that I can find, right? In today's video, let's take a look at US and what the US have done, which will be very, very important. I have even written about it in my book, as well as let's take a look at what's happening with gold. Just because of what US did and what it will lead to, and what kind of impact that will have to wider communities. Let's take a look at that with regards to finances. I'll touch on that. I don't know if I'll be constantly coming back to this point, but either way, let's start this video. Let's begin by taking a look at the United States and what happened. That not necessarily would cover. I will be reading all this information for the first time. I should do more homework, I guess. But I think it's accurate. Let's progress with that, and let's take a look at other articles that other articles not necessarily would be accurate, right? First, let's try to understand what is reserve requirements. What are reserve requirements? Reserve requirements are the amount of cash that financial institution must have in the vault or at the closest Federal Reserve Bank in line with deposits made by the customers, set by Fed's Board of Governors. Reserve requirements are one of the three main tools of monetary policy. The other key tools are open market operations and oil discount rates. Okay. Bank credit unions, savings and loans associations must meet certain requirements. So must U.S. branches and all agencies of foreign banks, EDGE Act corporations and all agreement corporations. On March 15, 2020, Federal Reserve Board announced that reserve requirement ratio will be set to zero effective March 26, 2020. So they have removed the need of having any reserves. So that's a date where first date was then people decided to move away from the gold standard that would happened some time ago, and now they have removed even needing of having any reserves in the bank. So that's a date when paper, it's just paper. There's no money anymore. Opinions only. The opinion are that it's worth something. That's only what's left. So that's the date 2020, right? So once that been said, and people who do understand this point, let's take a look at what's happening with gold, right? So since that would be store of value, right? So it could gold could be potentially leverage, right? So how much gold you have, you can reflect in currency. Otherwise, people would just print money. It's something that's happening today. That's correct. Quickly, I'll touch on that, how I'll progress and taking a look at, since we're taking a look at money and value, I think that's really important, right? To touch on that since it's Sunday. That will be gold standard. The gold standard is a monetary system where a country's currency or paper money has a value directly linked to gold. Countries adhering to the gold standard set fixed prices for gold and or exchange currency for gold at the price. The gold standard was largely abandoned in the 20th century, with most countries moving to fiat monetary system. As well as something I'm taking a look at in today's video, how much banks and all Federal Reserve in this instance will be able to lend money and or borrow money. So even that's been moved away from, right? We don't need to have anything. It's just paper, right? So once that's been said, let's take a look at what's happening with gold. First article is something that was done recently, 2 days ago. That would be India central bank moved 100 tons of gold from UK to domestic vault. It's something that's been reported. I haven't read this article. Let's try to understand what's happening. Why would India would decide to move its gold away from UK? Why we have decided to keep it in UK in the first place? I think a lot of gold currently have been stored within perhaps five different governments. But we can touch on that in just a second. First, let's delve deeper into this article and see what information we can find. The Indian central bank has moved a little more than I think it's 101 or 102 tons, and it's something that was shipped with planes. So they had to do it quietly, I guess. I don't know why they would decide to take those planes down. Metric tons of gold from UK to its domestic vaults. The Times of India newspaper reported on Friday, citing sources that similar quantity of the precious metals might be coming to the country in the coming months. The report said that adding the money was a logistical reason and the diversified storage. Right, the Reserve Bank of India held 822.1 tons of gold in March, and of which 408 tons, just over that, were held domestically. There's a lot of transactions, all these kind of things, right? And we don't want people to panic. I'd rather keep all my store of value in gold, if you would ask me. So I think that it's just the smart people, whoever decided to do it, they should send all that capital across if they can. It's something that was started some time ago, I think, for the last 4 years. That's just an example to support need of, instead of sending money, send gold, I guess. But to see what's happening with that money, right? Which is worth nothing. I'd like to touch on one of the examples. I won't gonna stay on this example for too long. That's just example of some of the information that is available up there. Depending on what sources people are taking a look at, some of the information, how inaccurate some of the information can be, depending on where you yourself you take a look at. This is information that's been recommended to me to take a look at. I already know it's such or so inaccurate. It's such a waste of time. But I thought it might be interest of sharing this information, right? I would just like to share this and to expand on the point that some people are led to believe whatever they would like to believe. I don't know why this kind of information has been pushed onto me. That the U.S. has most amount of gold, right? Which is always great. I don't know. If someone believes that this information is accurate, I would say let's leave this for these people to believe. And let's move on to other points, right? I'll touch on 2 points, right? I don't think that previous information was accurate, right? Let's touch on some of the examples. It just otherwise it will take too much of my time. I just want to move on with my day. It doesn't matter. And some of the people, gold itself, for people who understand it, gold you can melt it, and you can do many things with gold, right? So it's very hard to trace it, so to say, right? Who is doing what? Only thing what I like to touch on, there's no UK. I definitely know that UK has so much gold. For sure, 100% sure there's smart people living in the UK. I don't know where is UK is, what I can't find UK. So I know it's even right now, right? We have taken a look at the example where UK just sent 100 tons. Just an example, we have taken a look at, and UK is not even on any of the scales. Just to prove the point, right? Since I already know it, it doesn't. There's a lot of smart people who understand it, right? As well as I can share a different example, right? I would receive emails where they would send a lot of emails to me. If I would like to, I can purchase a lot of gold, which would be stored in selected company or government or company who can take on these services, and they can store that gold for me in whatever country I would like to. This is the companies who can do it, and if I would like to, they can melt it. They can do all this kind of things with them. They can make jewelry out of it, and many things, right? If I would like to stay off the books, that's perhaps some of the governments is something that they're doing, right? So, meaning now we can't find the UK. Once that is said, I don't know. It's smart. I don't know. It's not smart, but where that gold is being stored, why would you like to share this kind of information with others, right? It's not in my house, right? It's somewhere else, I guess. If you would ask me, perhaps in the U.S., let's start all gold in the U.S. It seems to me we do spend a lot on military, right? Okay, once that been said, let's progress. That really world's top gold producers, right? And we are taking a look at China, Russia, Australia, United States, Canada. Okay, I think this information is more accurate. Ghana. Okay. So I think this information is more accurate, but not necessarily very accurate, since they're still missing a lot of things, right? But either way, since who actually knows how much China or other governments like Russia or Australia is producing? Who knows, right? They might as well, again, stay off the books if they can. So why would you share this kind of information with others? There's no reason to brag about it. Once that been said, I think if they can look at how much reserve, not necessarily is accurate. Otherwise, unless there's a reason why it will need to look like that, as well as we were taking a look at Vatican City, right? Another example, Vatican City, and how much money they were interested in borrowing. When they were borrowing a lot of money, they have shown on their books 5,000 properties, and then they borrow against those properties, but someone got in trouble for doing that. Once that been said, I'm still looking for UK. Let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.